Welcome to Debt for Debtors. This is Matthew and I'm the Debt Doctor. Today I'm going to be looking at various ways of looking at a budget, from a simple budget to a more type-specific budget. The first one we're going to look at is just a standard type of budget, which is just a framework of how we present information. From the top down, we see income, less expenses gives us what's available. We have income of $1,100 or $1,100, less expenses of $750, gives $350 available. That's a great working budget. If we move to a more type-specific budget, and we're wanting to show somebody who's perhaps not able to make ends meet, we can look at it as in a top-down budget format of income, less expenses, less debt repayments, gives us what's available, or in this case, what's not available. In this case, there's a negative of $250, so there is $250 short of what the person needs in order to make their budget work on a week-to-week basis. The third type of budget that we've put forward is, again, a top-down budget, but it's itemized, and it's broken down by the types of expenses and debt repayments that you have. Again, income, less expenses, less secured debt, then less unsecured debt, gives us what's available, or in this case, not available, using the same figures as we had before. But this time we're breaking down the different debt types. Secured being a debt that's secured against assets as collateral and to ensure that the loan is repaid, and if that loan is not repaid, the creditor has the ability to follow the process of repossessing those assets. The fourth type that we have here is a debt-specific budget, or a solvency-specific budget, where we look at the income, again, less expenses, less the secured debt, which the client must pay in order to maintain their current assets situation. It gives you what's available of $100. Now that $100 isn't available to spend on a week-to-week basis, but what it shows you is there's $100 to pay that unsecured debt which we've listed below of $250. Now again, we show a deficit there. So there is something available to make repayments to that unsecured debt, but not enough. The other type of budget we have is a reverse budget, or what we call a reverse budget. Again, you have your income, but this time, instead of having your expenses at the top, it's at the bottom. And we have the income, less the secured debt, less the unsecured debt, giving us what's available on a week-to-week basis to pay for those food, rent, rates, phone, power, water, etc. All those other general expenses. Now, when we list those expenses underneath, of $500 in this case, it shows that there's a deficit of $150 in order to meet those general expenses. Now, this type of budget is what we'd call a reverse budget, because we're leaving the expenses till last. Now, in order to write a budget such as this, we're doing it because we would want to highlight that the person doesn't have enough funds on a week-to-week basis in order to meet their general living expenses. Now, if we were putting it in a hardship application, we would do this type of budget as opposed to a debt-specific budget. And the reason for that is because most hardship applications are based on the grounds of not being able to meet your general living expenses on a week-to-week, month-to-month basis. So when we put together this type of budget, what we're trying to do is highlight that deficiency when we come to making an application for the release of funds under hardship, or to put a debt repayment plan into a hardship situation. So we'll just run through again. We have a standard budget, which is top-down. We have a standard budget with debts separated. We have a type-specific budget with income, less expenses, less secured debt, less unsecured debt. And then we have our insolvency-specific budget, showing income, less expenses, less secured debt, giving us available less unsecured debt, showing us how much is a deficit at the end of the day. Then we have our hardship-specific budget, or our reverse budget, which has our expenses at the bottom. I hope this has been something that you found informative. If you have, please like and share our page, and look at some of our other videos on debt consolidation and some debt tips and hints. My name's Matthew, and I'm the Debt Doctor for Debt for Debtors.